Hi everyone, and welcome back to Aunt Susie's Kitchen. We've got a really good summer dish for you today. We're going to make a bacon ranch pasta salad. The first thing we need to do is make our bacon, so let's get started. In the summer months, I like to use my grill as an alternative to cooking indoors, especially when it comes to making bacon that could splatter all over the place. Plus, it makes my neighbors super jealous.
Okay, so this bacon looks just about done, and you can see how nice and frothy the tops are, and that's just all of that fat rendering out, bubbling up, crisping the tops and the bottom at the same time. I'm going to give this another 30 seconds, and then I'm going to pull it. Okay, done. It's really just this simple. Okay, this first batch of bacon is done, and I just want to show you, when you're making bacon for a salad, this is how crisp you want it. You want it to be able to stand up. Okay guys, let's go ahead and assemble the salad. So I have here 1 pound of cooked farfalle pasta. Here's a trick for you. When you are working with pasta that's going to be made for a salad, this is the only time that I will ever tell you to rinse your pasta, because otherwise the starches will cause it to all stick together. The other thing that you want to do, and the reason why you want to rinse the pasta, is because it will stop the cooking. So you want to get it strained, and you want to immediately start rinsing it with cool water. Keep moving it, shake it out, and make sure that it's all the same temperature, and that you don't leave it sitting in the strainer for a very long time, because it will start to stick together also. Give it one last toss with cold water, and then let that drain, and you've got pasta that is cold, but not all stuck together. So that's what we have here. That's just 1 pound, and these are the mini ones. I like the mini ones for this. Okay, I have some regular table salt. I have here some cherry tomatoes. They've already been washed, and we're gonna cut those in half. I've hard-boiled some eggs. I'm going to use about 4 or 5 of these. And this is 8 slices of the bacon that we cooked before. So this part's easy. I'm just going to go ahead and cut up all the ingredients and get them in this bowl. And then we are going to make a homemade ranch dressing for this salad that is going to just take it to a whole new level. Okay, so we have all of the components of the salad ready to go. So I'm going to just put that to the side, and now we are going to make this unbelievably simple but so delicious ranch dressing for this salad. You're not going to believe how good this is. Okay, so I have a glass mixing bowl, just some normal, kitchen utensils. I have a spatula, a knife. I have a little strainer because I'm going to use lemon and I don't want the pits in it. And of course, a whisk and measuring cup, measuring spoons, nothing crazy. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure out 1 cup of mayonnaise. And everybody has their own favorite brand of mayonnaise if you make your own mayonnaise. I don't know that I would recommend a homemade mayonnaise for this one, because they do call for raw, unpasteurized eggs. And so this salad's gonna go outside with me to a cookout, and I don't know that I want raw eggs outside today. And I'm probably gonna sit this on an ice bath when I get to the party anyway, so that it stays nice and cold. The other thing that I'm going to measure out now is also 1 cup of sour cream. And again, whichever one you find to be your favorite. I tend to go for ingredients that, or should I say, brands of foods that have minimal natural ingredients. This particular brand of sour cream, ingredients read culture cream. That's it. Nothing added. I've seen some that have all kinds of fillers and added things I can't even pronounce. There's no need to put that stuff in your food. The ones with the natural, fewer ingredients cost just the same as the others do. Okay, so I'm also now going to add to that 1 cup of milk. I use 2% milk just because that's what we drink at home. But if you have whole milk at home, use whole milk. Okay, the good thing about this recipe is everything is just gonna go into the bowl and get mixed at one time. So there's no fancy steps here. Okay. I have some fresh parsley and some fresh dill here. In fact, I'm gonna switch this out just for 1 second. They've both been washed, and I need in total about a tablespoon of each. So we'll do the dill first. I love dill. It smells really, really nice. Dill is a great herb. It goes with so many things. We like to make carrots. We'll do a honey glazed carrot. And at the end, we'll toss some fresh dill in there. Gives it such a nice flavor. Of course, dill and lemon, if you like salmon. Great combination. A lot of cold salads call for dill. There's a lot you can do with it. I want to chop it really finely. If you can't get fresh dill, by all means, use the equivalent of dried dill. Just make sure that if you've had it sitting in your closet for a long time, check the expiration date. A lot of people don't realize that dried herbs expire. They definitely expire. And you don't want to use expired herbs. The fresher, the better when it comes to dried. And I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of this, which is pretty much everything that I've chopped here. I'm just going to throw that right inside the bowl. Move this excess to the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some parsley. Same thing with the parsley. Chop it finely. This parsley and this dill have been washed and dried. Now, parsley's funny. When I get home from the grocery store, I think I've said this a couple hundred times, I like to wash all of my produce and then store it appropriately depending on the kind of produce it is. And so for my herbs, I like to wash them, wrap them in a paper towel, and put them in the refrigerator. And I like to keep that paper towel just a little damp so that the herb stays nice and vibrant and properly hydrated. Parsley is one of those herbs that if you try to wash it and use it immediately, it bruises very badly and it turns mushy, and I just don't like the way that it looks when you try to chop it after washing it immediately. So you definitely, if you just got home from the grocery store and you have your parsley, wash it, wrap it in paper towels, and make sure that you dry it really well before you go ahead and try to chop it. And you'll be glad that you did. Okay, so we've got, that is good. Perfect. Okay, I just ran out to my deck and grabbed some chives. I have a container on my deck, and I grow chives every year. And what I love about chives is that they just keep coming back year after year. You don't have to do anything. Plant them once, walk away from them. You will have chives year round, because even in the colder months when they start to die, you can cut them off and let them dry, and you can use them dried during the winter months. So these are the flowers that grow on the end of chives. So that's another benefit of them. They're really pretty little purple flowers, and they smell as fragrant as the chives without the flowers smell. So put those over here and enjoy those chive flowers. Okay, so what I need is about a teaspoon of chives, and they're bouncing all over the place. Okay, it's probably not a teaspoon, so let's just cut the whole thing up. And I want these really small because I don't want to have bites of chives while you're eating this, but I do want that flavor to come through. And as I'm cutting them now, I can smell how fragrant they are. And that's probably contributed to the fact that I literally just picked them a few minutes ago. And what's good about these is they washed in a breeze. Literally washed them really quick, and with a paper towel, just ran it through, and it dried as quickly as I washed them. So there's no extra moisture left behind. And I think that's good. Smells really, really nice. Except I'm not convinced that I have a full teaspoon here, so let's measure. Usually I'm good eyeballing things, but this has got me. Oh, good, look at that. Guess I'm better at that than I thought. If you use dried, you usually need half the amount, because dried obviously is just that. All of the moisture's been removed from them, and so they obviously take up less space. So a teaspoon of fresh is a half a teaspoon of dried. Okay, perfect. So we have that. I'm gonna grab my lemon, give my lemon a little squish over here to help encourage it, release its juices. My lemon has also been washed. Like all of my other produce, people are like, why are you washed the lemon? You're not going to use the rind. No, but I'm going to cut into it. So whatever's on the outside of this lemon will wind up inside this lemon on the flesh as I cut through. So always wash anything, even if you're not going to eat the rind of it. Okay, so I'm going to use this little strainer that I have because I don't want any pits in here, and this is the easiest way to do this. So I'm just going to squeeze this in. I'm looking for about a tablespoon, and I think that should be good. And of course, this lemon has no pits, but I assure you, if I were not to use this strainer, there would have been 100 pits in there. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna grab a little bit of salt now, and I'm also going to grab a little bit of garlic powder. Now, I've tried this recipe with fresh garlic before. It just didn't taste the same. Fresh garlic can be really, really strong. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to use a full teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, perfect. And now I'm just going to bring this back up here. Grab my trusty whisk. It smells really good, even before I mix it. And I'm just going to give it a whisk. Be careful, you don't want to get it all over the kitchen. But once that milk gets incorporated, now the lemon juice that we put in here is going to start to thicken everything. Although the sour cream and the mayonnaise is a little bit thick, the milk thinned it out, but that lemon juice is going to go and make sure that it all gets nice and thick and dressing-like. The only thing I want to do now is just grab a spoon and give it a quick taste and make sure it doesn't need anything. Look at how nice and thick this is. Coats the back of the spoon, and it holds its shape when we go ahead and, run our finger through the back of it. So, that is really delicious. I think it could use another touch of salt. Remember, I have bacon in here, but I also have an entire pound of pasta. And even though we cook the pasta in salted water, pasta itself doesn't have a lot of flavor, and it relies on the sauces that we add to it and the dressings that we add to it to really give it flavor. So what I want to do is I want to add a little bit more salt, and I'm probably just going to add another maybe half teaspoon, because you want your dressing to be well seasoned. You do not want the dressing to get lost in all of those ingredients that we have over there, especially the pasta. Okay, this looks great. Look at that. Look at that. Look how easy that was. You don't have to buy dressing in the store. I don't know if it's because I make my own most of the times or what, but even when I go out, I can't eat bottled dressings. They just have a very funny aftertaste to me. And when you see how easy something like this, I mean, goodness, this amount of dressing, I probably made the equivalent of 3 cups of dressing, which is what I'm gonna need for this much salad. But if you wanted to make this just to put it in the refrigerator, you certainly could. And you can use it, probably would stay good in your refrigerator for at least 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, how long does mayo last in your fridge? How long does all the ingredients we just put in here last in your fridge? And by adding a little bit of the lemon juice, you've kind of preserved that milk a little bit and extended its shelf life as well. So I would say at least 2 to 3 weeks, probably longer. Just taste it and see. In my house, this wouldn't last that long. This would be great with vegetables or anything you really wanted to use it for. So let's go ahead and get it in the salad. Oh boy, I'm gonna start with half of it, because if I don't need it all, I certainly don't want to overdress it, but at the same time, you don't want to underdress it. Look at this. This looks so good. I used 8 pieces of that bacon, and you know, if you wanted to, you can always go back and add more bacon if you think the ratio is not right. That's the good thing about this. I'm giving you guidelines to what I'm using, but you know, make it your own. You want to throw some avocado in here? Go for it. You want to throw some grilled chicken in here? Now you've made a meal. You want to chop up some iceberg lettuce or some romaine lettuce small and you want to throw that in here? You definitely can do that too. I think after looking at this, I'm going to add more tomatoes to it because I don't think that it has enough color from those tomatoes. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes because that will give me an indication of how much of this dressing that pasta is going to soak up. And then probably right before I leave for the party that I'm going to, where I'm bringing this salad, I'll probably give it another hit of the balance of this dressing and one more toss so that when we arrive to the party, it's nice and creamy and not all dried up. But first, I have to taste it. And I have to see if the seasoning is right. And I have to see if I can get a piece of bacon in this bite as well as a piece of egg. So let's see. Well, one thing I can definitely tell you is it needs a little bit of salt. Because again, now that the pasta is mixed, you notice we didn't put any salt in this at all, other than what we put in that dressing. So I am going to put a teaspoon of salt in the salad itself, and I'm going to give it another stir, and I'm going to taste it one more time. I didn't want to salt the pasta until I mixed it with the bacon and tasted it, because bacon obviously comes with its own amount of sodium, and so do eggs for that matter. Eggs also have sodium in them, so I didn't want to over salt it. You can always add, you can't go back in and take some out. So, clean fork, no double dipping. Okay. That did it. That is perfect. This is delicious. And I think I have 3 pieces of bacon left. I have 3 eggs left, and I have some tomatoes left. I think I'm going to add a little more of each to this, because I don't want the pasta to be the star of the show. Okay, we get this in the fridge for 20 minutes. Get it totally put together, and let me come back and show you what this looks like. Okay guys, we're back. Pasta salad's been in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes, and I want to show you what has happened. And this is exactly what I was expecting to happen. Look how dry it is now. And the reason for that is because the pasta did just what we expected, and it absorbed all of that beautiful dressing that we put on there. But that's okay, because we reserved some. I also want to show you what happened to the dressing while we refrigerated it, and that is that it continued to thicken in the refrigerator as it got cold. So look how nice and thick and creamy it is. And also, don't forget that as the dressing sits, all of those herbs and all of the seasonings that we put in there are going to release into the dressing. And the flavor is going to get better and better and better as it sits for a couple of hours. So I am going to use the balance of this dressing in here. And then I'm going to give it a toss, and we're going to go ahead and put it inside the container we're going to take it to the party in. that. That's gonna be perfect. It smells so good. I cannot wait to eat some of this today. And you see 1 pound of pasta made so much because we used the entire container of tomatoes that we purchased. There are 8 hard-boiled eggs in here, plus there are 12 pieces of bacon, and then all of that beautiful, creamy, delicious dressing. So this is a lot. If you're making this for just your family, you know, obviously it'll last in the refrigerator for a couple of days, but you could half the recipe. You certainly could half the recipe and not have so many leftovers. Although we like leftovers, but they don't usually last that long. So I'm gonna put this in just a regular plastic container because I don't wanna have to worry, or I don't want my girlfriend to have to worry when I leave her house that she has to, you know, wash it and give it back to me. This is one that she can certainly keep. And this entire container is going to fit this whole recipe, 1 time the recipe. And that's it. Look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. Listen, you take this to a barbecue, and you especially, you know, tell your friends that not only did you make the salad, but you made the dressing that's in there, and tell them how simple it was. They're all gonna ask you for the recipe. At that point, you can decide if you wanna share it or not, if you wanna keep it our little secret. Maybe I'm just gonna use some of this dill as a little garnish. And that's it. I'm gonna take this to a party with me, and everyone's going to enjoy it. Your friends and family are going to enjoy it also. Please go ahead and click the subscribe button so every week when we post the new video, you don't miss out. If you hit the little bell, it'll send you an alert and let you know that new videos are up. Please give me a like and say something down below in the comments. We love to hear from you. Check us out on Facebook. We are Aunt Susie's Kitchen. Check us out on Instagram, Aunt Susie's Kitchen, and of course here on YouTube. And don't forget to come back and see us again because there's always something good cooking in Aunt Susie's Kitchen.